This news update is brought to you by...
It's the most wonderful Christmas with Flow, with 5 ways to win $50,000. Just activate any prepaid or postpaid plan, top up $15 or more, pay your bill on time and in full, or sign up for the best in entertainment with Flow TV. That's 5 wonderful ways to win $50,000 from Flow. All this and much more from Flow this wonderful Christmas. Visit us in-store today.
It's Wednesday, December the 28th, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today afternoon update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news that the proposed multi-million-dollar Sugar Point cruise ship terminal at the Bridgetown port has been put on hold. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Port Inc., David Jean-Marie, tells Barbados Today that while the board was still committed to the project, they are trying to work out certain issues before moving ahead with the venture. Construction of Phase 1 of the project was originally scheduled to start last year, with the facility due to become operational in time for the 2016-2017 cruise season. Key elements of the project include 3 350-meter-long pile-supported piers, providing berth for 6 large ships, cruise terminal building and associated infrastructure, multi-use landside development, and the separation of cruise and cargo operations. A cabinet minister in the Friend Stewart administration wants his government to be more proactive in getting a series of pending capital projects off the ground in 2017. Speaking to Barbados Today after midnight mass on Christmas Eve at Christchurch Parish Church, Minister of Youth and Culture Stephen Lashley said this was one of his resolutions for next year.
I believe that certainly my one resolution for 2017 is to see Barbadians recommit themselves to productivity, to recognize that, of course, the government has to lead in all of this, but at the end of the day, I believe that we are called to provide that leadership. I want to see, of course, much more proactivity. We do have several projects in the pipeline that are due to be executed. And one of my resolutions is that we see those projects activated so that we can see more growth return into the Barbados economy.
Minister Lashley also noted that young people in Barbados would play a pivotal role in building the economy over the next few years.
I believe that 2016, which is drawing to a close, has had its ups and downs. We've had several challenges on the economic front, on the social front, and so on. And oftentimes, because we reflect often on the challenges, we do not focus on some of the positive aspects. But I've seen many of our young people, building this economy from the roots back up, and I think that is really what is going to happen going forward. In the next 3 to 5 years, Barbadians will find that they need now to reinvent themselves, to recommit themselves to hard work. Many of the challenges that we face will not go away without a kind of a resurgence of what it means to practice industry, to heighten our level of production, and so on.
The National Insurance Scheme has missed out on some of its 2016 targets. That's the word from Minister of Labour and Social Security, Dr. Esther Bayer-Suckoo. While not going into details on the missed targets, Minister Bayer-Suckoo told staff at the NIS's Christmas party and awards ceremony at Hilton Barbados Resort last night that they now need to focus on next year when the agency will be celebrating its Golden Jubilee.
At this time of the year, we're also reflecting. 2016 was eventful. We had personal successes and losses. The National Insurance certainly had achievements and also missed some targets. National Insurance will be celebrating 50 next year, a remarkable achievement, and I know that there's so much that National Insurance can celebrate next year, and I'm looking forward to those celebrations. I also want to congratulate the awardees who will be acknowledged here this evening for your service, not only this year, but throughout the many years that you have served the National Insurance.
In sports now, West Indies women all-rounder Deandra Dottin says all is going to be fine despite suffering multiple cheekbone fractures after a collision on the field during the Women's Big Bash League game between Brisbane Heat and Melbourne Stars. In a post on Facebook, Dottin said, Eye socket and eyesight are fine. Jaw and teeth fine. She also wrote that she was now out of hospital and recovering before a specialist appointment with a face surgeon tomorrow.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only 225. 220 who? For what? That's the bear stale news. I don't read about that on Barbados today since last night. That can't only can't do. 220 who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Read all about it. Get your paper. Only 225. Let's get your paper. You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados Today app on my phone and I just get my news for free. What do she?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. A 14-year-old St. Vincent student was sentenced to 12 years in custody for the murder of a fellow student 1 year ago. High Court Judge Justice Kathy-Ann Lachu handed down the penalty in what is believed to be the first time in the country's history that someone so young was charged, convicted, and jailed for murder. The 14-year-old had on November the 30th pleaded guilty to murdering the 15-year-old student during an altercation on June the 8th, 2015. In sentencing the accused last week, Justice Lachu ordered that she receive periodic reviews and that she continue her schooling during incarceration. In more regional news, Haiti's economy grew by more than 1% in 2016, and that's according to preliminary figures released by the Directorate of Economic Statistics of the Ministry of Finance. It said the gross domestic product, GDP, grew by 1.4%, well below the target of 3.6% that the authorities had set at the beginning of the fiscal year. Now, that fiscal year runs from October 2015 to September 2016. The figures show that the agricultural sector, which had plagued the Haitian economy in 2015, was largely responsible for GDP growth in 2016. And on the international scene, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has urged Israel to stay strong until he assumes office next month. In comments referring to last week's UN Security Council vote, which criticized Israeli settlement building on occupied land, he complained Israel had been treated with disdain and disrespect. The comments came in his latest outburst on Twitter. It comes ahead of a speech on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict by U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. That's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper email updates and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, our screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.